Hello. The last few days have been hard. I've been recovering from narcissistic abuse, and you have good days and then bad days and then good days again until the recovery is full. And these last few days have been some sort of a very depressive days. uh, Yesterday and today I felt like I have no purpose, and I felt it was a very appropriate moment to finally talk about the first narcissist in my life, since I am in a state that it doesn't matter. Nothing can depress me now, since I am already a little bit depressed. I can address some depressing memories from the past. I was 17 and this woman was 19. It was 2001, January. I'm gonna call her Narc 1. And this, I was doing a musical presentation, playing the guitar as a special guest. I was invited by my cousin, and I played there. He was making a show for his students. He taught keyboards, and she was there, and I got to know her. She got to know me first time, and then for some strange, I don't remember the reason, we decided to get back home together. My first impression was that she was a strange company. I got the sense that she had a turmoil inside her, but it shows, but not like in a way so strong. But you feel this person is electric, and there is always a turmoil inside this person, and this person has no peace, and you feel it. But at the time I was 17, I could just feel it, but I could not judge it, and I didn't know what it meant to be around a person. I had little experience in romantic affairs. In fact, very little experience in interpersonal relationships. I was closed at school, bullied by teachers. I almost had no friends. I liked to draw. I liked music, movies. Okay, then I don't remember for how was the first contact. We started talking. She would come here to my house, and the funny thing is that I can say for sure that this girl came to my house. She approached me. I didn't go for her. She was an older girl, and she came into my house to talk to me. I remember we talked for We talked twice in front of my house about several things, included sexual things, which is interesting because you can see how inappropriate it is to get into these matters with someone who was a complete stranger. On my part, I had no boundaries, so I would talk about sexual things, my personal sexual things, to her, and it was inappropriate on her part because it's kind of, pushy, no sense of boundaries. And then one afternoon, I was teaching a girl how to play the guitar here in my house, and she came, opened the porch, and first, the day before she came to my house, opened the porch, I was in front of the house, and she said she missed me. I found that strange. I said, missed me? That's kind of, I didn't know that at the time, but I could feel it. I could feel that it was too intimate for that moment. It was a little bit embarrassing. But being a nice guy and being a generous person and a people pleaser, I felt flattered by that, what she said. And then she came and brought me a letter. This is the letter. I'm covering my name here, and here you have the date. The date is 1/11/2001. That's the letter, and it has 1, 2, 3 pages. And she wrote, the first thing that it is in this letter is she wrote my name in big letters. And it's interesting because if you talk about seduction, our name, psychologists say that is a very powerful thing to use when you are seducting someone, or when you're being seduced. I'm sorry. It is very flattering. It is highly pleasing. It gives us pleasure. But she wrote my name here in big letters. And I selected a few parts. Of this first letter. And the first part I selected that caught my attention is where she says, I thought a lot about what I said to you today, and I would like you to forgive me if I disturbed you. And oh yes, she disturbed me. She was very disturbing. And then, a little bit later, she says that our friendship is very valuable to her. And she says she's going to act with spontaneity at least once with me. Which is strange because okay, you're gonna be spontaneous at least once with me, and the other, what about the other moments where you're being, what were we planning? It makes you think, okay, this woman has been abused sexually as a child. She told me that she wouldn't care telling me something so intimate about herself. And later I found out that I wasn't the only one she confided this information to. She would tell everybody. We live in a small town. She would tell everybody in this town. Every person she would have contact with. She was a very promiscuous girl. She had a bad reputation here in town. We would hear, well, she slept with this guy. She slept with that other guy. She slept with everybody. Horrible, dirty stories about her. She would go to the cemetery, and she was the type of person that wouldn't care to have sex in the cemetery with someone. She was a very sexual woman. She used drugs. I don't know how often. Marijuana, I know she used, and I never knew she had contact with any other type of drugs. This woman had a relationship with a guy that lived, ironically, in front of my house. Can you believe this? And this woman would come to my house, and the family of the guy would see her talking to me in front of my house, and she wouldn't care. She wouldn't give, you know, she wouldn't care. She had a established relationship with this guy. They were not married, nor living together, just boyfriend as a couple, as a boyfriend and girlfriend. But she wouldn't care if the guy felt jealous or not. That was not her preoccupation, I guess. She was described by this guy's mother as with a girl who had very special needs concerning, you need affection. She would need a lot of affection. She would lie down in this mother's lap, in this guy's mother's lap, and ask for affection, physical affection, and for comfort. So she was described as very needy by this guy's mother. And that's the type of girl who contacted me. And here she says that she considers our relationship, which is very new, probably 2 weeks old max, and she says, I'm gonna be sincere. I'm gonna tell you what everything means, why I think so much about you, why I've been behaving so well lately, why I'm not very worried about making my relationship with the guy better. She says this in this letter. Why I'm not really worried about making the relationship work. and why all the signs that she was giving me, of course. You know, she was being seductive. She was, and she still is she has a very seductive behavior. And that's falls into the category of histrionic personality disorder, along with narcissism. And she says here why she's doing all that which I told you. And she says she decides to reveal me. Since the first moment, these are her words, since the first moment in which I realized my feelings for you, they were already classified. I have absolute certainty that I love you, as I never ever loved or thought that I could love. And she didn't, and she says here that she never felt the need to tell the whole world about this love, or to tell something about it to any other person, because she believes she's going to be misunderstood and reprimanded. And she says, I think few people, I think nobody will see the purity of my love. Those are her words. Wait a minute. You have a relationship with a guy. You're in a relationship with a guy. And you come and tell me that nobody will understand. Of course, nobody will understand you because you have a boyfriend, man. And then you come and tell me about the purity of your love? I don't think so. And then later she tells me that she knows I had no intention to awaken these feelings. And she says, don't think that I wait for you to, I wait you to love me as much as I love you. I just wish that this revelation don't change for worse our friendship, which is highly valuable to me. And the effect of these words on me at that time, which I was very romantic, I loved romantic poetry, romanticism. I wanted to find a girl that never had slept with anyone. I wanted to find a girl who wanted marriage, who believed in eternal love. And then this girl comes and says those words. You know, it really makes your feelings go. You feel a lot. Like you get. She says she doesn't want me to love her, but that's exactly what happens. It's even in our makeup, psychological makeup, or even in our, I don't know if it's instinct or what, because, and they say that if a person likes you, the natural tendencies is that you like that person in return. And she's saying, I don't expect you to love me as much as I love you. Yes, right. You don't expect me? No way, my friend. You know what you're doing. Those words are highly calculated. You know that if you say you like me, I'm gonna feel guilty if I don't say I like you in return, and you see the powerful manipulation behind these words. She's now, in a underhanded way, she's forcing me, coercing me to fall in love with her. Moving along, she mentions a conversation we had once in which she told me that she used uh, drugs. Okay, I don't remember the word now how to translate. She tells me that I told her that I wouldn't like that she would resort to drugs due to her confusion of feelings. And then she says, and isn't it interesting? She says she turned to drugs due to her confusion of feelings. That's the type of person that came into my life. And it's very, very common that narcissists, the personality disorders, is accompanied by substance abuse. And this woman told me, and I didn't see it as a red flag, as dangerous to me. I didn't. And then she says, there's nothing in this world that gets me higher than your eyes. There's nothing that makes me so inebriated more than your smell. Strongly sweet and suggestive. And then she says, whoa, I wrote. And then moving along, she tells me not to worry about how I would behave in her presence or the words I would say, because she says she is a good observer, and she says that I will know how to discern your intentions. That's very interesting either, and that's truth. You know, what people tell or say about themselves is usually the truth, and how there's no way to disagree with that. Narcissists and people with personality disorders, psychopaths, social predators, they are indeed good observers, and they know how to discern our intentions. In the same letter, she says, I don't know if you're sleeping now. I believe that you are, and that you're probably sleeping with AC. AC was another girl for which I had a platonic. I was in love with this girl, but it was just platonic. And she'd probably be dreaming with this girl. And then she says, forgive me if I am invading your privacy, but I can't stop thinking or imagining how you are when you're sleeping. And believe me, this is the most beautiful and angelical scene that I've ever imagined. Now, two things in this paragraph. First, she invades my privacy, and that's true. I think she kind of like violated some boundaries there. And second, this is the most beautiful and angelical scene that I've ever imagined. Isn't this so exaggerated? It's highly exaggerated, too much. And then she puts lots of paragraphs from songs, lyrics here that talk that she's listening on the radio. And one of them is called I Love You, a Brazilian song. Let me say I love you, let me like you. This makes me calm, this makes me happy, my soul happy. This helps me live. Isn't it appropriate? Let me like you, this makes me calm, this makes me happy, and this helps me live. If you put it in the context of narcissistic relationships, I was a narcissistic supply to her, and this helps me live. She identified with this. And then she makes some drawings here. And that's the end of this letter. She draws. And then she cites a song here in this drawing. Just a verse. She calls me her dream. And remember, we just met for 2 weeks. And all this thing comes so fast and so intense and so exaggerated and so sentimental. Lots of sugar, sugarish, and you think, how am I supposed to react at that age with no knowledge, no education about social predators? Highly inexperienced boy. And this fact that she puts some such song lyrics here, you might think, oh, she did this because she really liked you, she was in love with you. But recently I saw on her Facebook that she does this all the time. And when I saw it, for reasons I'm gonna explain later, I said, well, this looks like the letter she wrote me. She always putting song lyrics and talking about sentimentality, and to the point that it makes you wanna literally throw up, especially considering now that I know her a little bit, what she did to me. I know the truth about her. And I know that she's a narcissist. So when you see all that sentimentality and then you say to yourself, that's so ironic because this person has no feelings at all. This is the end of the first letter, and the second letter I'm gonna make some comments about it soon. Thanks for your time.